What will you do on your farm this year to increase your sunflower production? Well, we'll give you a few sunflower tips today.
All right, there are some big differences from what the highest yielding sunflower farmers are doing versus what the average guy is doing. And a lot of times sunflowers are kind of an afterthought. It's, well, I couldn't get this crop in, and so I'm going to do sunflowers. Other times it's a planned thing where you've got a contract well in advance. You know exactly what you're doing. If you're going for the highest yield in sunflowers, it has to start with fertility. And I realize there's a lot of misinformation out there saying, well, sunflowers are this great scavenger crop. Hey, sunflowers are scavenging because they don't have enough fertility applied to them many times. And you can see it right in the stalks when you walk out in fields. If you've got a big, healthy, thick stalk, you know that it's been fertilized well. And when it's a spindly stalk, you know, much like in cornfields, when that stalk is small, there's not enough fertilizer there.
All right, as soon as Darren mentions fertility, the first thing that pops into my head is a lot of sunflowers in the United States are raised in drier areas of the country. So in drier areas of the country, the standard line I hear from farmers is, well, we can't afford to spend much on the crop. We don't get a lot of rainfall here. That's exactly the reason why you need to properly fertilize. Because did you know that a properly fertilized plant is going to use less water than an under-fertilized plant? Here's the reason why. Okay, anytime a plant starts to run short on a particular nutrient, how do most nutrients get into the crop? Well, they get in with water. So what happens is when the crop starts running short on any nutrient, it starts pulling in more water, even if it doesn't need water at the time. What I'm saying here is you're making your crop a water waster when you don't have the right amount of fertility in. Now, this doesn't mean you have to put on 20,000 pounds of fertilizer or anything. What this means is you need to have the right balance of fertilizer in your soil. I'm just trying to say you've got to get everything kind of in balance on your farm, get your soil pH right, and do those things, and all of a sudden you're going to find you've got a more drought tolerant crop. You've got a crop that's going to do a lot better in overall production. So even if you are in a dry area of the country, we just really encourage you, do a good job with soil fertility, do some soil testing, learn how to read that soil test, make your own fertilizer recommendations, and balance your overall nutrient level, and you're going to have a lot higher production.
The other thing you need to do is start with a good pre-emerge herbicide program. When we think about the post-emerge herbicides, we just can't kill many of the tough broadleaf weeds post-emerge in sunflowers. So we've got to start off with a pre. But when we talk to farmers across the country, we'll say, what are you using for a pre in your sunflowers? We'll normally hear, most commonly, either Sonalan or Spartan Charge. Now, a few guys will say, well, I use everything I can. I use Sonalan and Spartan Charge. Honestly, that's the best answer because we don't have those post-emerge options. We've got to do everything we can, use multiple modes of action, several different effective products pre. So you've got 2 products in the Spartan Charge and you've got 1 product there in the Sonalan, Treflan, or Prowl, and you can get the most broadleaf weed control and get the grass control too.
All right, let's get a little more specific on those pre's. Spartan Charge, the charge part, that's just AIM, and all that is a burn down product. So if you're in conventional till, you don't even need that charge portion, that AIM portion. You can just get the straight Spartan and incorporate it. But if you do need burn down, Spartan Charge is going to be an upgrade from straight Spartan. Darren mentioned the yellows, Treflan, Sonalan, and Prowl. Remember, Sonalan is the best product, okay? Prowl is fairly close behind it, but Prowl is the no-till product. Sonalan is the incorporated conventional till product. You can certainly use Treflan. It's just you have more carryover risk with Treflan, and it's not quite as effective as what Sonalan is.
Then in terms of post-emerge weed control, what do we have? Well, we've got some good grass killers. So if you need some post-emerge grass control, we can do that. But in terms of broadleaves, unless you've got Beyond for Clearfield flowers or you've got Express for Express sunflowers, wow, you just don't have much for options.
Yeah, I would say you have nothing for options. So that's why you have to have the multiple pre-strategy. If you aren't willing to use a yellow and Spartan, I'd forget about raising sunflowers. It's that big a deal because there's no way to kill those broadleaves post-emerge other than in the Clearfield or Express Sun sunflowers. Okay, turning to something else. Let's talk about, for a minute, diseases. There are a lot of people that aren't treating for disease at all in their sunflowers, and in many cases we think that's a mistake. Fungicide prices have crashed. they're dirt cheap now. At least try some fungicide on your sunflowers. We found a lot of guys are getting good plant health benefits. They're spraying early, some of them are spraying late, but at least be experimenting a little bit with this. The guys that have experimented, a lot of them are now doing their whole farms, but again, we just encourage you at least experiment with some of these fungicides.
It's often several hundred pounds more flowers per acre with these fungicide applications. So it's not just white mold. You may say, well, I don't have white mold like those other guys do in that different area. It's not just white mold. There are a lot of other diseases that impact sunflowers. And then the next thing, Brian, is really timely application of insecticides. We all know that we're going to get bugs out in our sunflower fields. We've got to be really timely with these things because when sunflower heads start to turn, it's tough to get coverage where you need to get it.
Yeah, absolutely. But here again, insecticide prices have crashed. They're dirt cheap. You can go with a full rate of a pyrethroid now for a couple bucks. Even chlorpyrifos like Lorsban, that's maybe $4 an acre. So you're not going to invest a lot of money there, but oftentimes the returns are tremendous.
Finally, bird control. It's tough to fight birds in sunflower fields when you're close to a water source and you've got this tremendous food, sunflower seeds, that birds want to eat. The birds can be a problem. You can definitely spray some certain bug or bird repellents out in your field. The birds are one of those things that I don't have a great solution for you. I know there's been a lot of different things tried, but the things that you can control in terms of fertility, weed control, disease control, insect control, those things can all help you make more flowers and more profit.
Well, another thing that will help you make more profit is getting control of our weed of the week. Can you identify this week's weed?